Oh boy.
This
I'll think
is
about it.
session 73. Who would like to describe session 72?
There was some fighting on a boat. We found that one lost city, whatever it was called again.
Arnma.
Yeah,
Harnma.
Yep.
Yeah. We heard it disappeared.
we heard it
We found
disappeared.
it.
Yeah,
It's at the
and
bottom of this lake. All the
Yep.
people have risen to the top of the water and are just floating here.
And we fought some Sahoygans.
And some sharks. Well, I guess we didn't fight a whole lot of sharks. They kind of I was able to dispense with them fairly easily.
And we had Bob, one of the members of the Dagger Faces crew. I believe he shocked Zarius with his prototype weapon.
Nala. You shocked Nala.
He shocked Nala with his prototype weapon, which was a fantastical version of a taser.
Right.
Just like real life me, Zarius is wise enough not to get tased.
Don't tase me, Bob. We were heading towards this statue. So as we got in the fog, we saw this light in the distance, and as we were going towards it, that's when we got onset by the Sagan. And after we took care of them, we were getting closer to this light, which was a large statue that was holding aloft some sort of light source, and that's essentially where we ended it.
Right. So you left the coast on Daggerface's ship. A fog rolled in after a couple days' travel, and that's when you encountered all of these bodies that were floating on the surface over what you determined was Harnma. In the distance, you began to see a sort of blue glow, which, whatever's going on, the currents seem to be pulling you in that direction towards the blue glow. And that is when you got attacked by the Sahuagin. As you got closer to the blue glow, the collection of bodies, which was very densely packed, essentially just ended, and it seems as if there's a ring around this blue glow that the bodies aren't floating into, although you do see there are occasional bodies that are floating within that ring. It seems as if they're all mostly being somehow contained at least 1,000 feet away. But the ship still continues to get pulled through the bodies and then through the open water in the ring towards this light source. Zarius sees none of this because he's below decks putting on his armor. Once again, the armor is a problem.
No. I already had the armor on. What are you talking about? Like
Well,
we had some weird fuckery going on. I put my armor on.
Right. The weird fuckery.
And then the battle happened.
Right. I recall after, because the battle started and you didn't know it was coming, and so it takes like 10 minutes to put on heavy armor. So at the end of the session, you said, while you were being pulled forward towards this light, you said, "How long does it take?" And I said, "About 10 minutes." And you're like, "Oh, then I'm put my armor on."
All right, fine.
Whatever. Your armor is now on. I don't believe anyone directed an attack at you that I recall, so AC didn't really matter during the fight.
No, I was not attacked.
Yeah, you are definitely being pulled towards this light source, which you can see is being held aloft, at least above a giant stone hand of a statue that must have been enormous, but it appears to be of a woman now laying on her back, probably broken and toppled. You can begin to see, when you look into the water, the tops of buildings, or at least the tops of ruined buildings, as it seems like it's getting a bit shallower. And it does seem as if the statue itself is probably resting on something, since you could see the profile of the statue sticking above the water. What are people doing?
Well, Axios he kind of waves his hands, and the water that he's drenched in kind of splashes off of him as he uses prestidigitation to clean himself. And then he immediately smokes a bowl. Man,
Are we
I
still
gotta
being,
calm
like,
my nerves.
are we still being pulled towards it?
Yes.
What's the radius of this thing? Can we tell?
The radius of which thing?
I don't know, the
The-
glow or this.
I mean, the glow you could see dimly through the fog at a pretty great distance. You were probably about a mile away.
Does it look like all the water is moving in this direction?
Give me a perception check.
I'm not actually proficient.
Yeah, you can't really. Well, so your passive though is 20, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so I don't assume you can actually do worse than your passive. You would have
That's generous.
noticed. I actually think that's got to be like things. It can't be that when you suddenly try to figure something out, you
It's
can no
worse.
longer see it. It's only in your peripheral vision are you good at this.
I mean, you just could have very strong peripheral vision, and as soon as it comes into focus, you...
The cataract gets in the way of the old man. But I would say yes. Although the bodies are not being pulled, the bodies seem to just be in a clump and they really can't move much further.
Mhm.
The water itself is moving around them towards this light source. And it is pulling the ship along. It's just not pulling the bodies.
Kurt,
Okay.
can I make an Arcana check to see if my character would recognize anything about this?
Sure.
Ugh.
I mean, you too can see that it's obviously a magical effect. And you would guess that it is probably whatever is pulling the water forward is probably also either itself exerting a force to keep the bodies back, or there's just two effects going on at once.
Can I make a history check to see if I recognize a statue?
Sure. The statue is actually not exactly the most famous landmark, but it's certainly the most famous landmark in Harnma. It was a statue of Melora, and it was supposed to have a giant ball of water that was held in front of her, and that would fill constantly the drinking water of the city. The water was sort of magically generated. You wouldn't necessarily know like right now it's sort of undulating, and it was supposed to be like just like a solid ball of water that had a waterfall falling from it. So it's not behaving the way it used to, but the statue is now on its back. So that's probably the reason.
Okay.
But we're still being pulled towards it?
Right.
So,
Is it like a siphoning effect?
It does seem to you like all of the water is being pulled in radially towards this light source. So how, what are the physics of that? You don't necessarily know how that could happen. Maybe it's all flowing away from it on the other side.
That
But
the barrier of bodies are how far out from the thing?
About 1,000 feet, you would guess.
And we're encroaching on that barrier.
Yeah, you're just past the barrier now, sailing towards the light.
Okay.
So the ship is in fact, if anything, moving faster now because it's not being slowed down by the tangle of bodies.
so who's got any bright ideas on what we do? Do we just let it like pull us in, or are we gonna?
Well, Captain Pamilio, he is yelling orders at the sailors. The sailors they've tried taking the sails down, but it's not really wind that's pulling you. He is at the helm of the ship, trying to turn it, but it doesn't seem to be having any effect. And he is yelling at the sailors to go down. You can see there are magical red runes that are appearing in the air above the helm as he is fiddling with it. And he is clearly manipulating these runes, but it doesn't seem, he seems to be increasingly frustrated. If anyone speaks dwarf, he is mostly cursing.
I don't.
I do speak dwarf, so I know it's cursing.
So you would also hear he is directing his people to go below and make sure that there hasn't been any damage to the drive. And you've been on the ship long enough to realize that the drive is in the back of the ship. There's a pillar that goes through various decks from the bottom of the ship to the top, right along the right at the aft of the ship. And they do refer to that as the drive. And you're aware that it's somehow magical.
Oh, that's what they call it. The drive. Makes sense. It's like driving through the water. But now we're being pulled through the water. That's not as cool.
Cesarius steps to the front of the ship. And because we're on water, obviously he would prepare this fucking spell. And I shall redirect flow.
Man, that is one chunk.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you just got to go down to redirect flow.
Yeah.
I got 10 minutes of this. Hopefully. It's
Okay.
kind of just in our immediate vicinity that I guess I'm redirecting the flow like that. Like we're going this way, I want to make it that way. And like night, I guess perhaps I can try and do some old wind physics here, right? So we're being pulled this direction, and I push the current that direction, so that maybe we go like in the middle, right?
Right. Well, I would assume so. The only thing pulling the ship forward right now is this current. So
Right.
when you redirect,
Well, I guess if I
flow,
redirect the current, yeah. So I'm gonna
Right.
try and take us out. I got
Okay,
10
so-
minutes. And I could do this multiple times if necessary.
Okay. So you turn the ship away from the light, and it begins to pull away back into the ring of bodies. I assume you're not going directly back, but you turn the ship and eventually hit that
Right.
ring of bodies again, and re-enter it. Let's see.
What does it look like as Zarius casts that spell?
I imagine so. He obviously has this staff, which unfortunately is fucking coursing with lightning. He hates that. He hates it so much. So
Only Zarius would be grumpy
he
about
makes
that.
a wide gesture, and then brings grabs the staff with both hands and just like stamps it down on the deck of the ship, and it sort of reverberates through the ship into the water, and then the water sort of vibrates, and then it just sort of redirects that water through the ship, sort of almost like a resonance that the ship can no longer feel, but is going through like a magical resonance.
The ship begins to pull away. And after about 10 minutes, the ship is essentially in the field of bodies now. The captain initially thought that maybe his efforts were working, but quickly realized that it still wasn't going where he wanted it to go. So he figured out that it is in fact you who's pulling the ship away.
I mean, he's free to come and try and help direct the
It's like-
flow.
It's like you gave the captain the unplugged controller. Here you go, buddy.
Let your little brother play.
But no, he comes once he realizes what's going on, he does come up to the front of the ship and is looking into the water, and then looks back at you and says, "That's pretty amazing. How long can you keep this up?"
10 minutes at a time.
Well, we're not moving very fast through these bodies, but hopefully you'll keep it up long enough for us to get out of whatever this is, or a damn wind will pick up.
So what I could try and do is like, because like this is sort of like an action change the effect. So like as an action for one turn, I instead of redirecting the flow, I can like off to the side part the water so that some of the bodies sort of just flow down away from us and out of our way before bringing it back and redirecting the flow again through less body filled waters, perhaps.
Okay, that's what would that be? I'll be there.
What do you mean that would be? That's all of the effects of the spell. I'll use another. You know,
No.
I
I just wanted to see. I just wanted to
I can
figure
use it
out.
again.
Like,
There's part waters.
right. I think it's completely fair to use it that way. I am just trying to figure out how effective that would be. Not that it's ineffective, but is it wildly effective or sort of effective? So
How about create a whirlpool just out of range of the ship to pull some of the bodies into the whirlpool, so it's all clumped, and then
right, like
part it.
same thing. I'm not saying that wouldn't work. It's just a question of how well do you pull this off. So
Sure.
right,
Okay.
I guess
Yeah.
make me a wisdom check.
Sure. Fucking what the fuck? Action point.
You're gonna use an action point for that shit?
God damn it, I will.
Who are you, Lucia Rossi?
God damn it.
Well, it wasn't a critical fail, so your whirlpool didn't pull the ship in.
The question is, do I use that other action point? Because, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. Yeah, I'll take the 8.
Okay. It is still effective. It's not quite as effective as you were hoping, as every time you stop to form the whirlpool, the ship starts to get pulled back a bit. But you do clear a path in front of it, and then when you redeflect the flow, at least the ship is moving through slightly clearer waters. It doesn't say, does it, how fast the water flows in your redirected flow.
No, it
So
does
I'm
not.
assuming it moves the same speed as the original waters were.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. But assuming once we're out of the area, they can use the sails to help as well.
I mean, but so there's really no wind. There hasn't been wind for a while, so that's why.
So turn their engines back on.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. As Axios is sitting cross-legged, his eyes just red. If that's Melora, and the drive is magic, so maybe it's like, and that's why.
Make more sense.
Like, you ever like see an iron and you like rub it with the wool and then it kind of sticks to things?
I have not.
Well, it's kind of like that, where it's like they stick, they like come together at like yeah. So it's probably like that the drive is full of magic. Melora loves magic, and so she's pulling it in. Maybe that's what's happening. So maybe it's just because the statue's there.
So we should still avoid it.
I'm not saying we go near it, but that may be the issue. So maybe if we just if we could turn off the drive for a bit, or if we could mask it, maybe it'd stop.
Actually, so you bring up a good point. May I have some of whatever you're smoking?
He takes a puff and then he passes.
The captain says, if we turn off the drive, won't we just flow towards that light faster?
Well, not if it's just pulling the drive. Like if it's the magic that's being pulled, then
It's pulling the water.
is it pulling the water, or are you just
Yes.
moving the water stronger than it's pulling the drive?
It was pulling the water.
Hearing that question, T-Hole takes a bigger
T-Hole's like, hashtag deep, man.
I mean, maybe. I mean, that statue, it was like holding water when it was like standing. So maybe it's pulling the water.
I shall continue to redirect the flow, talking to the captain.
I don't know.
You just tell me how many spell slots I need before we're out of this.
So
gonna-
after it takes about 30 minutes for you to be out of the area that's where the water's being pulled in, at least noticeably. There's
Okay.
still bodies all around you, but it doesn't seem as if the water is pulling anymore.
Okay. That's all my 4th level spell slots.
And T-Hole would have gone up. Is there a crow's nest on this ship?
There is, it's not exactly, it's not like a basket nest, but there is, you can climb the mast to a standing position that's at the top of the mast.
T-Hole would have climbed that, and he'd be just stationed at the top of the mast, providing lookout.
Okay. So you are at the top of the mast looking out. What's everyone else doing? I mean, the ship is now moving and the captain has ordered the drive to engage, but it is still moving pretty slow through these bodies. So you have a little bit of time if anybody wants to do anything.
I think I'm all right.
And T-Hole, make me a perception check.
To see if you see the ghosts that you can now see through the drug.
Yeah, I assume, is it ghost weed or are you smoking something else?
Isn't the glass the drug from the Sea of Glass?
What were you handing to people?
Axis.
What drug were you handing out, man?
I think we
So it was
lost
a-
Mike?
Huh?
Mike.
Sorry, I was reading a spell to see if it might be helpful in this situation. Well, it was glass grass.
Mixed with a little bit of drywall.
So let me just check something. So how much of this are you two smoking?
So,
I mean, I'm smoking my
Unfortunate
usual
question.
amount.
I think T-Hole
I
was.
mean, are you smoking enough to hallucinate is the question.
I think T-Hole would have probably taken like two hits off of whatever Axies had.
Yeah, I mean,
What
you would know if basically if you take enough of it, which is like a minute of serious usage, you will essentially be hallucinating for an hour. It's pretty pleasant unless something hits you, and then you just become a rage monster and attack everything within arm's reach.
Which is longer because of your astral arms.
Right.
that's a good question.
So Axius would warn you before he handed it to you, and he'd be like, "Look, this is potent. You be careful. You don't want to do as much as me. I'm a professional."
You're just encouraging them now.
The good news is, whatever amount you smoked, you see nothing in the fog.
Theo would have smoked over a minute.
Okay, so make me, I guess, an acrobatics check with disadvantage because you're at the top of the mast hallucinating. Okay, you begin to fall, but are successfully able to cushion your fall with your monk powers. For you, falling is nothing anyway. And you land safely on the deck, but you are just seeing all sorts of colors and people you haven't seen in years are walking past and saying hello. It is a very pleasant experience.
Whoa. Am I dead?
I told you, man, it kicks hard.
And since we're here anyway, make me a Constitution save.
Here we go. That's not bad.
So I won't tell you whether that's a success or a failure or what that does. But you are still having your pleasant hallucinations. And is Axius taking enough to hallucinate?
Oh yeah.
So you are both functionally speaking under the effect of hypnotic pattern for like an hour. As the ship slowly sails on. What's Aurelia doing?
I'm going below deck. I really don't want to witness this shit show that's going on above deck.
Is there anything specific you're doing?
I don't know. I'm kind of suspicious of this new person that's seems to be handing out drugs and causing problems. I'm starting to think Lucerosi needs to come back, so I don't know.
That's true. Lucerosi disappears and suddenly people are doing drugs.
Yep. I guess I'm just watching them to see what they're doing. Just check I don't know anything about ships, so I don't know. I would say check the integrity of the ship to see if there's any damage, because I think that creature, whatever, was trying to break through it, right?
Yeah, he was at some point. You're sure of that he was trying to beat a hole into the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, I would just look to see if there's any noticeable leaks. Not like I would be able to tell if there was something there before or this is normal or whatever.
So
I just don't want to.
Making your way into the bottom of the ship, fine. There is a section below there's two decks below the main deck. Below that, there's a section that's right up against the hull for storage and where the ballast is kept. You don't see any water in this compartment though. So if there's damage, it's on the outside of the hull and it didn't penetrate through.
Okay.
Or the ship has somehow fixed itself. You never know with magical ships.
That's right.
I looked during the battle. So
So almost an hour passes when you begin to hear a gurgling from behind the ship. Let me find a picture. And rising up out of the water, you see this. It is pretty big. It is like 15 feet across and floating. And you hear a shriek coming from Bob, who seems to be he's scratching at the deck to try to get away.
T-Hole is going to summon his astral arms.
Teal is high and hallucinating. Teal
Wait,
doesn't see any of this.
We said
It's
an hour
all-
passed, right?
I said almost an hour on purpose.
Oh,
You're out for one more round. But
I don't
everyone
even
else
know
can
if
roll
that's,
initiative.
if that's real.
Bro, your hallucinations are so pleasant that you can't even perceive this as a monster. It is like a beautiful sunrise has appeared behind the ship.
Yeah, look at that initiative.
It's nice.
That's some great.
Wow.
fucking initiative. That's some Lucirosi style initiative right there.
I love that name, hovering horror.
You can roll initiative, Teal. You just won't go this turn.
oh, okay. I thought we were waiting till next round. Nice.
So you see this sunrise come up out of the water. You can't really react to it other than to gawk. But the effect will wear off next turn. Then where is everybody? Everybody can position yourself where you want to be. I don't know if everybody was above deck after an hour or not.
I was. I probably this is a good spot.
Right. T-hole was above deck and would be
Next to the bath.
I definitely would have been next to T-hole.
I guess
Feels good
Zarius
here.
might have been looking
Let's see.
forward just
there
in
he is.
case anything else was coming in the water in front of us.
I would be below deck.
Okay. So you can hear people yelling above deck, but you haven't seen it yet. Okay. So let's see. Stormborn, T-hole, Aurelia's below deck, Zarius, and this sailor all make me a dexterity save as this thing spits acid out in a line. So T-hole, even with disadvantage, saved.
No damage.
Right. It's a good thing I'm fucking resistant to acid.
I'm just like,
Finally.
oh. High is like I like beautifully dodge, at least in what I managed to be beautifully dodging, like this ray of sunlight that is just like been thrown at us.
Sailor made his save, but he doesn't have. Just realized doesn't have 20 hit points.
Finally, my copper scales have come in handy.
And she also drops. So that's its turn. Aurelia.
So do I hear people yelling? Do I hear like
Yeah, and you see Bob scurrying past you, gibbering in fear.
So I guess I would walk up the stairs and try to peek out to see if I could see what the hell is going on.
I mean, you can see this mass hovering behind the ship. It has a glowing eyeball and tentacles.
Okay.
It's about 20 feet across.
Okay. I will cast Dissonant Whispers. Let's
Okay.
hope it can hear me.
It's going to choose to make that save.
Okay, so it just takes, I think, half the damage. So 8 psychic. If I didn't need all my moves to get up there, I would kind of move back down, like so I'm like below
Yeah,
the.
you can do that. I mean, there's a grating above you that lifts up, so you would just lower that and back down the ladder.
Yep.
Axios.
Axios is gonna be like, oh, whoa, not cool. Bob, you okay? And he's gonna kind of look and be like, oh, okay. And then he's gonna Axios is gonna look like he's concentrating really hard, like just staring at it. And a little like sliver seems to pop out of his forehead, and then shoot out at the monster.
And he farts at the same time.
Mind sliver.
He literally creates a sliver of his mind. Got it. Manifest a sliver of the mind.
I'm on the wrong level. Here we go. It's going to choose to save on that one too.
Huh. Okay. Well, and then Axios is going to kind of move back here. Actually, right here.
Why are you trying to bogart the sunset, Axios?
And that'll be my turn.
Okay.
I thought I said Van Gooley, like the show.
Zarius' turn.
Where's the Varg wheel?
You haven't seen them yet.
I call bullshit. Those are demons. I guess it still took some damage from your mind sliver.
Took some from the dissonant whispers too.
Just thinking of maybe I just want to keep it simple with a Toll of Dead right now. I've used some spells this session or this day. I mean,
Right, it's the same day as the last one.
yeah. Let me see here.
You used all your 4th level spells.
I know, and I've got
And your
one
divine
one
word.
5th and 6th, and no 7th. Yeah. So I will. Yeah, I guess I'll just Toll the Dead right quick.
So he takes it.
Yeah, he will. God damn it. I'll move forward 10 feet so that I can cast a spiritual weapon right next to him. I doubt that'll hit.
No, that doesn't hit.
I will.
But you can put the spiritual weapon on the board.
Yeah, well, I guess his acid could spew all over the fucking deck here. Can I go down next to Aurelia?
You open the you can open the hatch. Aurelia's at the bottom of the ladder, so you'd have to like.
Oh, there's a ladder. That's right.
Right.
Fucking whatever. I'll just stand back here. Spiritual weapon.
I mean, I think you can climb down a ladder and move through her space to get next to her.
How much space? How much? No, it's fine. I need to be up here, so I'll just back here. At this point, we're good.
Okay. And at the top of the round, you begin to see some of the bodies begin to move in the water, like they're twitching, and you watch as their heads detach, and a trail of entrails hanging from their heads begins to pull out of the water as their heads fly up into the air, fangs glistening as they begin to circle around you. But
Sure.
it's not their turn yet, but they're going to go at some point. She is dead, or at least dying. So T-hole, you now realize all of this is going on, and hey, that's not the sun.
Yeah, the sun like morphs into this hideous monster. Whoa. I'm gonna spend 3 Kai points to summon my arms and my visage, and I'll run at the creature and say, "Bring back the sun," and I'll lay into it.
Just imagining
That hits.
like somebody hallucinating a sunrise or whatever, and then it's a car coming through a tunnel sort of situation.
This will be based on this creature looking thing. It looks kind of demonic, so you would choose radiant.
Okay.
And then that 7 is the martial arts die.
Right, I figured that.
And that he's gonna end his turn there.
Okay. So now you're right in front of it, or at least as far as it's concerned. It has very long tentacles. It could probably hit you. It probably has enough reach to do that. But first, everybody make me a save. A wisdom save. Except for Aurelia, you're below decks. You can't see it, so you don't have to worry about it. And Bob doesn't have to worry about it.
Does a 28 work for you?
Yes.
Mm.
All of Daggerface's little minions, I'm just going to say fail. And then so first, out of its main glowing eye, it blasts at T-Hole.
It definitely hits.
And then 2 tentacles come lashing out at you. That's a miss. That's a hit. So you are wrapped up in one of the creature's tentacles. But you're not restrained. You're just grappled and can't move. And it's Aurelia's turn.
Hmm. So I guess I peek my head out and I see that T-Hole is got it, got him, got it right where he wants him. So hmm. Shit. I guess. Or I can hold on. Let me just see. I think that makes more sense. So let me check, see if I can actually do that. Check to see. So I think T-Hole is within 30 feet of me if I'm standing at the base of the.
Yep.
I'm going to cast haste on him. And then shimmy back down the ladder.
Okay. So this isn't so much, nobody's seen you do this. And probably, given that you're like below decks, nobody can see you do this.
Right.
And you're like partially obscured by the grate. But this isn't so much casting a spell. This is just you focus on T-Hole and begin to slowly see threads of time flowing around him. And you just begin to manipulate them with your mind
Okay.
until they are moving faster for him. So T-Hole, you are hasted.
Nice. Don't be hasty now.
And all of these flying heads are going to swarm in. Bob is below deck. Get rid of Bob since he's below deck. And cowering. The sailor. This one's going to go after Axius, however.
That's a hit.
Yep. This one will also go after Axius. That is not a hit. This one's going to go after Zarius. This one's going to begin feeding on the dead sailor. And that one attacks the sailor. This one's going to attack Nala. And this one's going to attack T-Hole. And miss. Axius.
So looking at all of the things that are going on, and now these giant head things flying around, Axius is going to. He kind of he takes the glass grass cigarette out of his mouth, and he's kind of waving his hands in somatic components and using the smoke to kind of create runes and around all of the monsters. A slight ring of smoke appears, and then Axius says, aren't you guys late for the orgy like 10 miles away on land? And cast mass suggestion at 7th level.
We care about orgies.
I'm telling you, Lucia Rossi leaves and
Well, you weren't here. There were definitely drugs beforehand. Mostly just T-hole.
I do recall some ghost weed in our past.
I'm really hoping these things aren't immune to enchantment or
T-hole took drugs.
charm.
T-hole was drugged.
Yeah.
In the off chance that they are not immune to charm, DC is 18.
Right. They are not immune to being charmed.
And they can target every one of them.
So starting at the front of the ship.
Front top or front bottom?
Front top.
I mean, hell, you can get all of them. You can get the big guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rolling for him next, but I just wanted to confirm that none of them made it.
Even if it doesn't mess with the big guy, the spell was worth it.
He made it.
So, but you see a worried look across these faces of these flying demon heads as they realize I don't have arms to wear a watch. I'm late for the orgy on land.
They're gonna be going at it for They're gonna be so raw.
After 24 hours, they're gonna be like, "Wait a second, I love a dick."
I say, thank God Lucius not here because he'd be worried about the people on land.
Yep.
Who are about to be involved in an orgy, a very unfortunate orgy.
Talk about face fuckers.
Are you doing anything else?
No, I think that's you know what? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna spend an action point and cast invisibility on myself.
Okay. So, Zarius, it's your turn.
Some young
All right.
couple's going down to the lake to have a good time. It's like the beginning of an 80s movie.
Those Vargwheels are there to have a good time too.
Yep.
they went to make out point got more than they bargained for.
Yep.
Zarius is hesitant to use it, his last 2 remaining, high level spells. So he will do the Toll the Dead again, and the spiritual weapon as well. God damn. I'm gonna guess
failed.
that 17 does not hit.
No, 17 does not hit.
Cool. That's it. Keeping it simple here.
T-Hole, you realize that you don't know why, but you are moving very fast relative to everyone else. They are all moving slow. That's probably what you would notice, is everyone else is moving very slowly.
Great. He's never gonna stop taking that drug.
But you're also grappled, wrapped in this tentacle of this thing.
So I can still attack it, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna take 3 swings at it with my extra attack for haste.
The last one hit.
And I'm gonna use a Kai point to make it a stunning strike. It's DC 15. Nice, just didn't make it.
So it is stunned.
So am I still grappled if it's stunned?
Yes, I believe so. Guess I should check. I don't think it doesn't release its grip on things, I don't believe, when it's stunned.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, maybe it does.
Probably break free, basically for free.
It automatically fails strength and dex saving throws. So. Incapacitated, so
Right, so it can't take actions.
Or reactions. No actions.
So anything else you're doing?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were looking for. And I'm going to use my bonus action to. Well, for the one that hit, let me roll my martial arts die. 3 damage, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to take 2 more swings at it.
Okay.
I think you got advantage, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's
Stunned.
Yep.
So you lay into it. You can feel the suckers from the creature's tentacle are still stuck to your skin, but its actual tentacle has gone slack.
Nice. And that's going to be my turn.
It's stunned. Aurelia.
I come back up the ladder after hearing something about an orgy. I'm not sure what I'm going to look at. Are these headless? The heads like flying away, moving away from the ship.
They haven't had a chance to react yet, so they're
Okay.
still there.
Okay, so I don't know if our new friend is going to have some sort of special orgy with him or something. What the hell he's doing? This one-eyed thing. I guess I will shoot it with Eldritch Blast. I think I get there 2 shots with it.
3.
3. Okay. That's I'm assuming that's a hit.
Yep. That's a hit.
Oh, nice. And
Nice.
then the last one should be a hit. There we go.
Yep.
And back down the ladder.
Yeah. And the flying heads all begin flying off towards the north. Further. They're speaking in a language. Does anyone speak Bissell?
T-Hole with 13th level has Tongue of Sun and Moon, so he can understand all spoken languages.
Okay, so they are chattering amongst themselves about missing this orgy. And then, that it's probably actually going to take them several days to even get to land. And whether or not the orgy is like there's a little bit of a debate about which land the orgy's on, because they weren't given specific directions. So they're heading to the nearest land that they know of. And it's Axios' turn.
Oh, so, I guess what I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm going to drop my concentration on invisibility. And I'm going to cast detect thoughts on it. So I need to get a little bit closer. Yeah. I want to detect thoughts, see what it's doing here, what it's after.
So as what's the saving throw on that before
18.
What kind? Wisdom?
Oh,
Wisdom.
intelligence. Or wait a minute. Is it? No, it is wisdom. Yeah.
So it fails. Its thoughts are pretty disordered right now because it's stunned, but you do hear within its mind, this can't be a coincidence. There is no possibility that this ship has arrived here at this critical time. Everyone on board must be slaughtered and the ship scuttled. Their bodies will add to the effect anyway. But the rest of it's just a jumble at this point.
Okay. Cool. So I get to maintain that concentration. So I'll continue cleaning its thoughts after it, the stun effect ends, hopefully.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's my turn.
Zarius.
All righty. So we're gonna do. Where you at? There we are.
Isn't he only stunned till the end of his next turn? Or is it,
End of your
it's
next turn.
end of my next turn. Never mind.
Not that that's gonna matter with what I'm doing. Where you at? There you are. So I gotta upcast this, but I'm gonna hit him with a blight.
Okay.
That
Nice.
looks like shit damage. Bunch of
You failed.
D8s. I got 2 6s and everything else is lower. That's the damage of a fucking fireball. Bullshit. All right. Oh well.
So what does it look
32.
like as the creature's affected by the blight?
Despite all the water around him, it seems like it drains from his body. Skin goes dry, whatever his skin is like normally. I don't fucking know, I guess, but like it kind of grays a little bit, like he's aging a little prematurely. Yeah.
Okay. T-hole.
Not as effective as I would have liked, but oh wait, hold on. Bonus action.
All right.
Yeah, still
That
missing.
hits.
Cool.
Oh, that hits. You use
14.
advantage.
Advantage.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Aha. Sweet.
Now T-hole.
Fuck this guy.
It's gonna take 2 swings.
That's a hit. That's a hit.
And martial arts die, one of those. And I'm gonna use my third haste, or my second haste action anyway, to disengage or try to break the grapple.
Okay. Make me an athletics check with advantage, or acrobatics check with advantage. I have to check. It was close. No, the suckers will not come off.
All right. Oh, that's all right. And I'm gonna use my bonus action to swing at him 2 more times.
Those miss.
All right.
So your astral arms go bouncing off of its rubbery skin in that case, in the last 2. As you see, its tentacles, which were mostly hanging limp, now all begin to writhe again. What does it want to do? So everybody who can see the thing, make me another save.
We're immune for the next 24 hours. If we
Oh,
save
you're
it.
right. You're right. But T-hole isn't immune. He failed to save. So you were still frightened, which I forgot about.
And I would have failed it again.
You got to make that at the end of your turn, normally.
What does it want to do? So you see it has one big central glowing eyes. The 2 eyes off to the side below the central eye begin to glow with a silvery hue. And suddenly there is just a blast of energy in a 60-foot radius around the creature. And everybody has to make me an intelligence save.
Everybody?
Yes.
Oh. Hold on a sec. I might use my crown. Yeah, I'm gonna use the crown to automatically succeed.
Do I need to do it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll try an action point.
I need to make a Constitution save to maintain my spell. So I have to DC 10. Made it.
Psychic.
Oh, 1 sailor made it. Oh, 1 sailor is dead.
not gonna have anyone to man the ship in a minute.
You know who's
You
really
are.
good at intelligence saves? Daggerface.
Dagger face.
That's actually wisdom saves he sucks at. He's not the worst. Yeah, he still failed.
Huh.
So he's stunned as well. But that's its turn. Aurelia.
Well, I'm stunned, so and I have to roll a con save to see if the haste is still going, right?
Yes.
And a 7 is probably not going to cut it, so I don't think I have advantage on that. What's the
Right.
DC on that? It's weird. It's what?
It's 10 minimum, but it's
Or
half the
half.
damage. So
So it'd be a
15 in
15?
this case. Can use an action point.
Yeah, I'll use an action point.
Close.
Oh, bitch. Okay, well. I.
So suddenly, T-Hole, you see everybody speeds up.
Yep.
And then I'm T-Hole is unable to move or take actions.
Yeah, no. Turn of lethargy.
Yeah.
Lethargy. Lethargy.
So as you are lethargic, you could still hear the Varg wheels talking about how awesome this orgy is going to be as they continue to fly away. Axios.
So I'm going to use my action to try and probe deeper into its thoughts. And I'm also going to say, what's that effect about the dead bodies?
You can sense it. You were maybe expecting an alarm, but it's more annoyance as it realizes you are in its mind. But you are clear that it is aware that you are in its mind now that it's
Yeah.
not stunned anymore. And it
Well,
reflexively,
it gets a saving throw too for that wisdom save
good point.
as I probe deeper. Nice.
So reflexively, as you say that, you begin to get not so much words, but images of it and another like it completing a ritual. At which point you see a black vortex opens up in the water and sucks down the light from that amorphous blob that was hovering above the Melora statue. The water's still hanging there, but it absorbs the energy out of it. Eventually, the water just falls non-magical anymore, and the vortex begins to grow and stabilizes into what looks just like to your eye, just a black circle. But it's a
Oh.
pitch black circle.
Yeah. All right. And then what am I gonna do in the meantime? All of my spell options are concentration. I'm just gonna sit and look pretty. In fact, as I sit and look pretty, you guys notice that Axios's clothes do have a little bit of a sudden twinkle, like as if he just a bit of a sparkle aura forms around him briefly, in case anybody happens to be looking in that direction. And that's it.
Don't know if I am. I'm stunned.
So before Zarius gets to go, it's going to take a legendary action. And it submerges itself into the water, taking T-Hole with it. So it moves down 30 feet which is puts it about 10 feet below the surface of the water, and T-hole about 10 feet below the surface of the water. Now it's Darius's turn. You can no longer see it without moving towards the back of the ship, or to the back sides of the ship.
And I am stunned, so I don't think I can move. So
Ah.
that's it for me.
So T-hole.
Teal's gonna try to break free. Well, actually, Teal can't. Teal's not able to take any actions this turn.
Right.
Does actions also includes bonus actions and move actions? So
Right.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't you use your crown to? Doesn't
Yeah, I
that
thought you used
automatically
your
let you?
crown.
yeah, it's the haste. The haste wore off.
Right.
And
So you still get to take. You're not stunned because you use the crown.
No, but there's that turn of lethargic, where you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Kinda like
Oh, right. At the end of
the
haste.
side effect of a haste.
But
Yeah.
is that when the duration is?
It's when the spell ends
When the
Oh,
spell
okay.
ends, yeah.
until after its turn. So for my turn, can't take any actions.
You're too tired to be even frightened at this point.
Yeah.
I will say, I will allow you to, as you're being pulled under the water, to take a deep breath and to hold
That's
your breath.
fair.
So you're not drowning yet.
Okay, that's fair.
What is your Constitution modifier?
2.
That's good at least. But you have basically 2 minutes before you really start drowning. But that makes it its turn. So it is going to first it tries to blast you with its eye beam. But it misses.
Wow, it hates you so much. It could have lined up a shot on all of us. It just hit you. I mean, I know it's 30 feet down now, but still.
Actually, that is I used the wrong thing. It has 2 sort of things that both are called blast. It really should have been this one.
Yeah, that hits.
And then it's going to try to wrap another tentacle around you. That one missed. But I got another one. So now you're restrained. And it moves another 30 feet down. Aurelia.
Stunned.
What was that?
Stunned.
Oh, that doesn't last. How long does that last? I should look that up.
I thought it was till the end, at least last through
Yeah,
my
the
turn,
end.
right?
No, the end of its turn. So it just went again.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess. Water. I guess I would get up and move towards the front of the ship because I don't see it anymore.
Mhm.
Do I see anything in the water? I guess where the water was displaced or whatever, something's in there.
Right. You can see, because it has these 3 glowing eyes, you can definitely see the main eye. It's down about 40 feet.
I thought it was 60 feet, but no.
No, it was hovering in the air at first, so it only made it about 10 feet below the surface of the water in its first move.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I guess the only thing I have is because you really can't. Yeah. Shit. I'll try to hit it with Eldritch Blast, but I don't know how that water affects it.
It's magic, so the water's part as it moves through. That hits.
1 point of force damage. 3.
It is not dead.
Another
That
one.
doesn't hit. The second one hit, though. The 3.
Okay. All right. And if
You
I
have,
had
you do
any,
have bad luck on Eldritch Blast damage.
the last one I did was pretty good.
Right, but a lot of the times I feel like you get like 1s and 2s and 3s.
If I have any movement, I will move back away from the edge.
Yeah, you do have movement.
Okay, so I think I got like 5. I'll just move back away. I can't get back underneath, but well.
The Vargo are so far out of range you can't even hear them anymore. So it's Axios's turn.
Axios is gonna be like, not again. He's gonna jump in the water. So that he can get line of sight.
And you're ambushed by the Sahuagin.
He is going to use Dimension Door to teleport as close as he can to T-hole. And then he's going to use an action point, touch T-hole, and cast Dimension Door again to get back on the boat.
Okay. Where on the boat do you want to appear?
Right here. And when Axios appears, it's in a cloud, very similar to the smoke he exhales when he's smoking the glass press.
Of course he does. What do you think this is? Misty Step?
As the mix of like water and smoke.
Or in his lungs?
Hate getting wet. Dude, you okay?
I'm fine.
I think you pissed him off.
It's going to
Good.
use a legendary action to move.
Whoa.
So it is still under the ship, but it might be up around there. And still about 40 feet down, but it has moved. And it's Darius's turn.
Just before Xarius goes, Axios is going to shout, "It's trying to kill us. It's got some ritual with black balls. There's another one. We got to be careful." And that's it.
Another one.
That doesn't make any sense.
Another one
Black
of what?
balls.
Another one of those squid things.
Oh boy.
He's only up to 6 people, so. Oops. And what was the distance on it? 30 feet. From here, I believe I should be able to reach. Yeah. So I know. Oops. that Aurelia has been hit a little bit, right?
Yep.
T-hole. We've kind of all been hit by various things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's this? Is this the captain?
Yes.
Yeah, we might need him.
I will cast. I have to fucking upcast it at level 6. Mass Cure Wounds. Healing all of us. That's a 3d8 plus. I'll just hit this. This. There.
Okay.
So that's 14 points of healing, I guess.
Nice. By the way, is Daggerface gonna go at all?
Daggerface has never been really good at ranged combat. He's also been frightened the entire time.
Okay. That makes sense. He's probably sitting in the corner like, Daggerface?
Right, yeah, just make him yell Daggerface and he wins at fucking everything. We all know this.
So Theo, it's your turn.
T-hole is going to. What exactly is he gonna do? T-hole's gonna hold his action for when the creature comes out of the water.
Okay. What action are you holding?
I'm gonna hold my. I'm gonna try to whack-a-mole. No, I'm gonna try to punch him as he comes out of the water. So an attack action.
Okay.
So I'll move over like here.
Interesting. For some reason, I can move T-hole.
That must mean I have his
Glassgrass.
permission set wrong. Yeah, the Glassgrass makes you his puppet.
Yep.
The thing he didn't tell you. Yeah, for some reason you are one of. It's probably because I let you control him at some point in the past.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I never changed it.
That makes sense.
So this thing, it will move up a bit. It's still underwater, however, but you can see anybody who's along the side of the ship can see the eye staring up at the rest of you. And you see a wave of silvery radiance begins to form around its secondary eyes and envelops the ship.
Ah,
And more intelligence
Man.
saves.
Yeah, but he can't see me, so
that don't matter.
Doesn't,
Yeah, it doesn't
doesn't
matter
say
if
that it
it's
could see.
Right. 31. Stunned.
give me a
Does
wisdom.
stunned end concentration?
I don't. It doesn't say it does, so I always assume no.
Okay. So then 31, that's 15. Nope, I lost my spell. Unfortunate.
Sailor is hanging in there. The 4 hit point sailor.
Is that sailor's gonna be like that actor in Game of Thrones who is like all over the place?
At this point, I feel like he should just level up for having survived twice. And it's going to move again.
He has upgraded to follower.
So, Aurelia, it's your turn.
Stunned.
Axius is stunned.
Yeah.
Zarius.
Same.
And then it's going to use another legendary action to move up above the water again. So it is now hanging about 15 feet in the air, so essentially at eye level. Its tentacles are dragging it around the bow of the ship. And T-Hole.
T-Hole is also stunned.
Perfect for it. So it is going to move in, and first it is going to try to take out this legendary sailor.
Oh man.
Yeah, legendary sailor didn't. He had a good run.
How does he
But-
die?
So a tentacle wraps around him, and you can see his skin begin to smoke as the acid begins to burn into his skin. But it just squeezes so hard, you hear a sickening snap, and then it flings his body into the water as it moves in to attack Zarius.
Is this guy still alive?
No, he actually died. Just forgot to put the X on him. He was one of Daggerface's guys.
Oh
So-
no, not you.
Yeah, not Antonio. What you don't know is all the other Daggerface people, they have their own thing going on. So this is tragic for them. So first it will try to shoot you with its central eye beam.
Again? Oh, that's just me. Okay, got it.
Right. This is a single target thing.
How can I give it disadvantage?
And then it's going to try to grapple you with its remaining tentacle attack. But it misses.
Correct.
That's its turn. So Aurelia, you are not stunned anymore.
Hmm. How's this thing looking? Does it look like we've done any damage to it?
Give me an insight check.
Let's see. Probably hard now. Yeah, hell.
I mean, it is definitely beaten up. You can see burns and what you assume to be burns, at least along its body. It is sufficiently inhuman that it's a little hard to tell how wounded it is. It doesn't seem to have been slowed down. It's not like guarding any particular wounds.
Okay.
It is not
Um,
completely rehydrated from the blight, even having been underwater.
hmm. Is it right over the ship?
Yes, it is now partially over the ship. I mean, it's bigger, it's wider than the ship is wide. So, but a corner of it is hanging over the ship so that it could get to Zarius.
I guess I'll try to hit it with slow.
Okay. What save is that?
That is
I think it's a wisdom.
wisdom save.
Always felt like a strange save for it, but
Yeah. It's going to use its last legendary save to avoid that. As you reach out and begin to slow the tendrils of time around it, you can see that it is actively also manipulating the tendrils of time to counter you.
Well, how convenient. Okay.
Axios.
Axios, wet and tired and sore, and his head throbbing from all of these psychic attacks. His bloodshot eyes look intensely at the creature, and Axios makes some sharp movements and says something in a language that doesn't make any sense. And his shadow leaps from where it is sitting next to him into the creature. So I'm casting Phantasmal Killer at 5th level.
Just realized Daggerface is next to him now. Daggerface needs to be added as well. So, sorry, what save is that? Wisdom?
That is wisdom save.
cancel the
then-
crit. Cancel the crit. No wait.
Yeah, you can hear Axios curse under his breath as his shadow returns harmlessly to his body. And then he runs over here.
And the creature, he's going to use a legendary action to lash out with a tentacle. Let's see. Let's see, Daggerface is going to attack it too, though. So. Two is Zarius. Yeah, going after Zarius.
Sure.
So you are grappled. But it's your turn.
Um. All right. Let's give it a shot, I guess. Why not? I'm gonna, since I'm grappled by him, I'm just gonna touch him and try and vampiric touch him. And I guess I'm successful.
Yep, that definitely hits him.
I think what do I heal for half the damage?
I believe that's right.
Don't forget your spiritual weapon.
Yeah, I know. 5, 10, 15, 20. Can't reach him, so.
But you will be able to next round.
He doesn't move.
Yeah, if he doesn't move.
Yeah, he's probably dragging you under the water.
Yeah, before T-Hole goes, it's going to take a legendary action to move back, and then it drops down 10 feet under the water, carrying Zarius with it.
Doesn't Daggerface get an attack of opportunity?
Daggerface absolutely does.
Yes. All right. Good. I'm glad you picked up Sentinel while we were
Is-
gone.
His good and bestest friend Zarius is being dragged away. He
but his
can't
hammer
muster-
rings off of the deck, missing the creature. So, but
Come on, Daggerface.
he's only about 10 feet down,
Daggerface, come on now.
and
You got to continue the
T-Hole's
tradition.
turn.
He's got to continue the tradition of killing all of our big enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So Teal's gonna
Yeah.
move to the edge here. And that's 30 feet, and he is 10 feet down.
He's 10 feet below the surface of the water. The water is about 15 feet down.
If I jumped, I have 20 feet of movement left. If I jumped, would I be able to? I should be able to reach him, right? Because the 15 feet wouldn't count against my movement.
Sure.
Okay. So Teal's gonna jump into the dead soup, and get to about within arm's reach, and take a couple swings.
Well, for you, arm's reach is like the surface of the water. Because you
Yeah, so I guess I
10
won't.
foot reach.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I would just like be snorkeling at that point.
So both of them miss, however.
And man, that stinks. Do I have anything that can help that? No. So then I'll just use my bonus actions to hit twice.
Those both hit.
And then I'm gonna do a stunning strike on one of those.
Made it that time.
Damn. All right, and this guy. And then I guess I would just like crawl up on one of these dead bodies, just to stay afloat.
Yeah, you can see one of its secondary eyes has sort of extended outward on a tentacle that is now looking just at T-Hole, whereas the two other eyes are focused on Zarius. So the main eye is going to now look at T-Hole and take a shot at T-Hole.
Ouch.
So that is actually 50 damage.
No, it ain't.
Ah.
Reaction. Cancel that crit out.
You can do that. It's just 20.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
And then it will, it's going to try to wrap another tentacle around Zarius.
Sure.
Tentacle lashes out and twines around you until you are restrained. And then its last tentacle, it's going to attack T-Hole.
All right, that definitely hits.
So you are also grappled. And then it moves down 30 feet. So it is now 40 feet below the surface of the water. And Daggerface doesn't have a lot of movement. And he's not actually wearing heavy armor. But he will jump in and begin swimming down. He's not going to actually make it to the creature. But he's hoping for an opportunity. He'll double move at least to make it to the creature. Aurelia.
I guess I can kind of see it below the surface.
Right, you can see its eyes.
I'll just shoot at it. That's all I got. Hey, 5 damage. 20. Another 20. There's actually some damage.
Yep, all hits. Anything else?
I would say, I would try to inspire Zarius, but I don't. Him underwater 40 feet. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to hear you.
Right. So okay.
Do you know whale song?
You've got this.
Axios.
All right, so Axios is gonna move up to here. Now, is the creature still technically considered line of sight, or does the water break line of sight?
No, you still have line of sight.
All right. Once again, he throws his shadow down into the depths at the creature, casting Phantasmal Killer one last time.
By the time he takes it.
Yes. So it's frightened now. And we'll take that damage at the end of each of its turns. Or it has another chance to save at the end of each of its turns.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. That's all you can do. He's wet, exhausted. He's used more spell energy in a quicker time than he's ever used before. So, yeah.
So as you breathe a sigh of relief, it's going to use one of its legendary actions to shoot an eye beam at you.
Okay. So I can do something about that. Where is it? So Axios moves out of the way and at this, like, he kind of seems to split off from himself, diving to the deck. And this other one takes a blast straight in the chest and, like, very dramatically goes, ah! And then knocks back. And as it falls to the ground, then it vanishes.
Now it's Zarius' turn.
like a weird Keanu Reeves from fucking
Point Break.
Bill and Ted, and like, whoa, dude, not cool. And then he just disappears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes but it's like giving the fingers as it does.
I feel like in this particular instance, I'm probably the most important to keep alive. Now that Zarius is now that Lucius is completely gone, he's the only other person who had like full capabilities of healing. So it's just me. So I'm gonna heal myself. So that's an I'm just gain 70 hit points. Cool. Bonus action. I mean, I guess I can't really fucking do much. I'll just start dragging this spectral sword down into the water in my direction. It's like this that slow moving, bobbing effects. Like there's constantly out of the direction of it, but like it just course corrects and always is moving towards it. But
So it is 20 feet below the surface of the water.
Yep.
Then
I guess
before
no, it's
T-Hole
it's
goes-
probably only about 15 or 5 feet down because like if the deck is like 5 feet up, right, or 15 feet up above the water, it was
right. That's
pretty much at deck level. So
it's
Yeah.
really like 10. Before T-Hole goes, it's gonna make another tentacle attack at Zarius, of course. So you're not more restrained.
yeah, it does hit me. Good thing that acid doesn't affect me so bad.
Now it's T-Hole's turn.
I got a mechanics question. So Cave of the Mountain Bank, it casts it. You can use Dimension Door as a bonus
Right.
action. Does that have the? Does that allow you to, like Dimension Door, take a creature with you that's of the same or smaller size?
I'm pretty sure the
think
item says that you can't,
Yeah.
that it's yourself only. If it doesn't say that, if I'm imagining that, then it absolutely you can.
I don't think you're imagining it because that's what I remember too. So
I could my description that I copied over could just be wrong.
No, I don't see that it says that. I don't know. Maybe that was like an old rule.
Previous
just-
edition, maybe.
Right.
yeah, I guess
But we
not.
can,
Weird.
but we can play it that way.
No, I mean, I don't want to take away from you just because I remember some older edition doesn't make that like canon. I remember many things that are from older editions.
Well, remember,
So
was
I would say you can take someone with you.
Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to break free of this this grapple.
Okay. That's an acrobatics check. That does not do it.
I'm going to use an action point to break free of this grapple.
That still does not do it.
Well,
I'm using
wait a minute,
another-
because it's your turn, right? So if you're using an action to try and break a grapple, don't you get one attempt per attack?
Attack, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. That's true.
Okay. Well, then I still would. Then I guess I'll use an action point because it still failed.
That still fails.
Are you
Well,
kidding me?
Are you
15.
using an action point to take another attack action that gives you 2 attacks?
There you go. You have one more try.
'Cause that's what I would do.
Ugh.
You're rolling shit here, dude. You're rolling
Yeah,
like my
it's-
normal rolls. Can't get over 10.
You know, hell, I'm gonna use my second action point. Are you kidding me? There we
There
go.
you
it only took 6 acrobatic checks.
I'd like to picture what that is underwater, like the kind of flailing that T-hole is doing.
I feel like
I mean, for T-hole, it's really only a 9 or higher to get the much you needed. So that is a bad string of luck.
I feel like because like it's part of the attack action that you're doing the escape, right?
Yeah.
That you should be able to use your bonus action flurry of blows things if you really wanted.
I would.
I'd have to look at that one, but for now, I'm not sure that's right.
It says if you
Flurry
take
of
the
blows
attack
is-
action
Right.
as a
You-
bonus
it says
action
if you
immediately
take
afterwards.
right. And it says if you have I guess it says I don't know the exact wording, so you could be right about that.
Immediately after you take the attack action on your turn, you can spend a Kai point. Well,
Right,
I get flurry of blows.
I'm talking about the rule that says that you can replace one of your attacks with an athletics check.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, so actually, yeah. So it's the escape part of it is normally a whole action.
Oh, I always confuse
It's a
that, 'cause
grapple.
The
The
grapple.
grapple can be replaced.
I have always sort of played it as if the escape from a grapple can also replace. So I'm not going to change that now. It's probably, I'm sure you're correct, and that has always just been something I've been essentially house ruling. But I feel like flurry of blows is different. Like that is 2 attacks you take after spending a Kai point. So you can't replace
Yeah.
those.
and
Right, no,
anyways,
no. I just meant that like he spent the attack action. Now he can use the key point, the Kai, to take the 2 attacks.
Oh, that's true. You could spend another Kai point to also try to pummel the thing.
Or he could just do his bonus action martial arts and still get 2 attacks because
yeah,
he Astral Monk.
the Astral Monk basically gets it for free.
Oh, interesting.
But what T-Hole's going to do is swim towards Zarius.
I'm right there.
Get within 5 feet of him, and then use to twirl his cape and dimension door us 30 feet up, because I think we're 40 feet underwater, so we should be like 10 feet out or 10 feet from the surface.
You could do that, but that's an action to use the cape.
I thought that was a bonus action. Oh, you're right. It is an action.
Because the spell itself is an action. Yeah, it says an action.
Okay. Well, then I'll use my bonus action just to hit him.
Yeah, you did.
Both hits.
All right. And I'll spend a Kai point to attempt a stunning strike. That makes it.
That's the second time you did a crit and rolled max damage for the crit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Its turn. So it is going to go after T-Hole, given all of that. You're grappled again.
I'm going to use my reaction to negate that acid damage.
Okay. So now you're restrained and it drags you up in front of its central eye.
Oh, shit.
To get advantage and hits you for.
Well, it does because it's got disadvantage because it's frightened.
That's true. So it somehow manages to miss you. And now it's got to make that save. That was a wisdom save.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Roll me 4d10.
Okay. Well, that's 5d10. I upcast it.
Okay. And you feel that, so these tentacles are now digging into your flesh and are stuck there, but the tentacles go limp and the creature just seems to hover. The light in the eyes dies.
As it's killed by its worst nightmare. A sperm whale.
Actually, I'm pretty sure we all know everybody's worst nightmare is a Vargwheel orgy.
Immediately after all of that, Axius runs to the side and begins throwing up.
So now, before we go out of rounds, although the creature itself is dead, these things go limp. You're still attached technically because of these suction cups to the creature. The creature's not sinking, but you see Zarius has begun to sink because he's in heavy armor. So he is actually dragging the creature down now. Although really only you can see this, T-Hole, and Daggerface can see it because the light from the creature's eyes is gone. It's too dark down here for the others to see. So technically it's Zarius's turn.
I'll start to like swim.
So you're still technically wrapped up in these tentacles. So you have to
Like
make an
how-
athletics,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
an
sure.
athletics or an acrobatics check with advantage because it's dead. But it's still stuck to you.
Sure.
So you can try to swim. You're gonna have to make an athletics check at disadvantage.
Sure.
It's DC 15 to hold where you are, and DC 20 to actually gain ground up, swimming in heavy armor. So you are holding where you are. Now it's T-Hole's turn.
Teal's gonna try to break free of the tentacles.
How many times are we gonna do this? Go ahead, roll. With advantage.
There we go. So he breaks free, and he's gonna swim down to Zarius and start pull out the rot dagger and start like cutting away at the tentacles, trying to like pry them off of him.
Careful with that.
Okay.
Don't you have a normal dagger?
Well, I would imagine that he would start like trying to like sawing it from the outside.
This thing's huge. Just help get me out of the thing. Just pull it off me.
I mean,
I can't tell you this, so.
Yeah. Teal used his main action, so if he can like, I don't think he could offer the help action as a bonus action.
So you pull out the rot dagger and proceed to cut through. Make me an attack roll with advantage. So as these tentacles are very thick and rubbery, but you are trying to cut one. As you finally dig the blade through its hide, you see you are enveloped in darkness for a second. And then your vision clears and you see the creature begins to implode as a sphere of darkness begins to crush the creature in until eventually there is nothing left of it. It just vanishes. But you and Zarius is now free of the tentacles. The tentacles also implode into the creature.
Wow. So that was a close one.
Right. I've been back over there on the other plane. Stuck over there.
Assuming that's where it went. And it did just,
Yeah, no.
Some force within it
Listen,
holding back the gravitational pull of a black hole.
Listen, don't worry.
But it being so tiny that it instantly evaporated.
It's only my longest living character ever. I would just assume the best.
Sarius, you are now fine, except for the fact that you're trying to
Yeah,
not
I'm having
sink.
a hard time. Yeah, so just, T-hole, just help me.
Yeah, so Teal's gonna be like helping him him swim up. Kind
Okay,
of
so
like,
now you're trying to swim up with a guy wearing heavy armor. This is definitely an athletics check, not it's not an acrobatics check. So you can make me an athletics check with disadvantage.
Or would it help negate my disadvantage?
If he tries to help you instead
Mhm.
of carrying you up, yes, he could do that, but that would then be on your turn.
Right.
And Daggerface will also swim over, and he will attempt to swim up with you. I can find a skills thing. So he is not having any luck either because he's also at disadvantage. And it's, I mean, we could go on. What's your con modifier, Zarius?
A con mod 3.
Okay. So, and what's yours, T-Hole? 2?
2.
Okay. So even with disadvantage, I would say within the course of the 2 minutes you have before people start dying, you would be able to make it back up to the surface.
Presumably somebody would be able to like throw something down and help us in that time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the anchor.
You don't have any sort of like life preservers?
Not to penetrate the water defeats the purpose of life preservers.
Uh,
Once you're at the surface, yes, they could definitely throw something down and pull you up.
then they can.
But I would say in any event, in 2 minutes, you will eventually, with 3 people there, you will make it to the surface. I don't think we need to roll to see if there's some incredible fluke of the dice death of Zarius. All 3 of you sink. Although
TP.
T-Hole was rolling pretty badly there for a while. But you all make it back onto the ship.
So as you guys make it back up, Axius is not helping in that endeavor whatsoever. His back is to the railing of the ship, sitting on the ground, like kind of shivering and smoking, his hand kind of shaking a bit.
So it looks like T-Hole's like on the verge of collapse.
I got 2 hit points, baby.
Wow.
I would have died, or I would have fallen unconscious had I not negated that acid damage.
How would you how would here lay down for me?
Meanwhile,
I mean-
Nala comes up from below deck. She has a like a spit with a big hunk of meat on it, and she says, "Hey guys, they got shawarma."
Yeah, T-Hole would just be like collapsed on the ground as soon as he got on board.
So T-Hole will see Zarius will whisper to his staff and then go to press it against your skin. And the snake head is basically active and it will bite you. And you will fall unconscious. And then immediately I will cast a cure wounds on you.
Are you letting the snake bite you, T-Hole?
I think T-Hole would trust Darius.
I didn't mean to click
At
on
this
that,
point.
but I was considering it. Yeah, so here's the question, right? My healing is done at max whenever somebody's unconscious.
Mhm.
Life transference says that I take necrotic damage, and then the target then heals for twice that amount.
Right.
I mean, I guess in this particular instance, the max isn't a thing. It's not possible, right? Because it's
I
based on
mean,
the amount of
I
damage
would,
I take.
right, I would say, if you're willing to max the damage you take, you can max.
Oops, god dang it. Stop pressing buttons. No, I'm not gonna do that. I think I'll use a third level. Fuck it. Where are you at?
Almost dead. Well, actually,
So-
I am dead now.
Yeah, you're unconscious. That's actually in an inaccurate amount. So max of 3d8 plus 4, 5 actually. So 8 times 3 is 24 plus 5, 29 damage. 29 hit points is how much you heal.
Nice.
Already used the spell slot. We're good.
Ugh. Did you bite me?
I did not. It was the staff.
Oh, whatever. Thank you. Whatever you say.
So, what I find is funny is that had I not done that, you would only be short like 2 hit points from where you are now, based on the amount I rolled there. Or I guess a little bit more than that. Not very much though. Not a huge difference. I rolled 23. You got 29. Difference of 2 hit points.
You never know that 6 hit points or that those 2 hit points could come in really handy.
Yeah. You never know. Indeed.
Wow. Are you okay?
I will be fine.
Does Zarius look injured?
Nowhere near as injured as you.
But yes, he looks injured. Everybody pretty much looks a little injured, at least.
I cast heal on myself, so I'm kind of okay actually.
Does anybody know what the hell that thing was?
Bob seemed
Clearly
to know.
unnatural.
Bob seemed to know. And there's another one out there.
Well, hopefully we don't run into it today.
Oh, but this isn't over. They were trying to do some kind of ritual with statue of Melora. They were gonna take the magic and summon some giant black ball.
It will not have been the first. It is why that city is down there in the first place.
Yeah, but it saw us and it was like saying, this is a sign. This isn't a coincidence. What does that mean? What does it
Like he's-
mean? And
sounds
then
like
it just
he's
wanted to kill us.
Paranoid.
Daggerface speaks up and says, if they're doing something with the statue of Melora, we should turn this ship around. We're going to have to defeat the other one.
We're not ready.
Captain, turn the ship around. We're headed back for the statue of Melora.
Daggerface.
And the
They're dead.
captain says, fuck that.
We are no shape to fight another one of those things.
Imagine if those flying heads had stuck around. There's no way, man. Game over, man. Game over.
But if we
Don't you put
don't
her in
fight,
charge?
you said that it's going to complete a ritual. We're heroes, right? This is our job.
Yeah,
What we do.
but we can't just go in there like we are now. I've never used that much spell energy at one time. I didn't even know I could.
Well, you know, son, you're a member of the Dagger Forge now, so this is our job. We save the world. We save people from
Perhaps
things
next
like
time, Zaris will pipe up. Perhaps next time you should not cower.
I am sorry about that. For some reason, creature just frightened me, and I couldn't shake it. It took a while. I think it may have been magic.
Yeah. Well,
It should take a day for you to consider that.
Daggerface also looks pretty beaten up. He is below half health.
Listen, we've never healed Daggerface. He'll be fine. He's gone into battle with like 2 hit points. It's fine. And he's clearly still alive.
where's Bob?
He's below deck.
I'd go and try to T-Hole would get up. Bob, come out here. That thing's
there-
gone. It's dead.
There is no response from Bob.
T-Hole will go below deck to see if he can find Bob.
So making your way past Nala and the shawarma, you eventually do find Bob. He is in one of the back compartments where the water barrels are stored. And you can see he is just like in a corner, crouched down, shivering.
Bob, it's dead. It's okay.
You can't kill a god. It will be back, even if you've vanquished its current form. It will be back.
What god is this?
It is one of the gods of the Sahuagin. They're twins. One always comes to do the slaughtering of the sacrificial Sahuagin, the people they bring. But I've never seen them claim lives on this scale. I can't imagine what they're doing. What? What did you do to chase it off?
Killed it?
You must be much more powerful than I imagined you could be. You truly
Well-
are the heroes that Daggerface has talked about. But I do think it will be back.
There's why don't you come above deck? It's safe for the time being.
And he uncurls a little bit and then rises up. He still stands only about like 3.5 feet tall, but he starts to slowly make his way out and comes above deck with you. Others, they claim they killed them before, but they always come back.
Is there some secret to ending their life,
Not that I
ending their
know.
reign of terror?
No one has ever said so. They are immortal gods. The Sahuagin have worshipped them for generations. They were lieutenants of Blabal, the god of the Kuatoan Empire. But they found their own worshippers. I always prayed that I would never see them myself, but now I have. That means we are all probably marked for death when it comes back.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I need to make plans. I need to pass my designs along to my people so that they can make the weapons, since I will not survive to see their victory.
Do you know of any allegiance that these gods may have with other gods?
As far as I know, they have broken away from Blabal and are her enemies now. Other gods, I've never heard of them interacting with other gods.
Have you heard of? I see. Have you heard of Thurisdan?
No, I've never heard that name.
I see. Well, we have much to think about. Whatever these gods are, they're have reason to open up a portal to the void.
What is the void? The void is the deeps of the seas, yes.
Teal just kind of looks to Aurelia.
A lot nicer
It's-
than this place. So, Bob, thanks for the big pick me up. Really feel good now. We're all marked for death, and the world's going to come to an end. We already knew that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought we had it figured out. We were going to go to like Greyhawk or something, but no, this Lucirosi wanted to come back and save the world, and now he left, of course. Okay.
Daggerface, Daggerface like kicks a fish that has flopped up onto the deck and says, if Lucia Rosie were here, he'd go back to the statue with me.
Why don't you just go and I'll tell him. He'll probably meet you there.
I don't know. If Lucirosi were beat up bad enough, he probably would console rest as well. But
And Captain Pamilio says, there's no going back. We should sail on.
How? They're all dead.
Yes, the sailors are all dead, but I can give you instructions enough to work the riggings. And the drive can carry us slowly with no wind, but it can carry us. You're all going to have to put in harder days' work than you might have been imagining, but we'll get it done. And he goes back to the helm again, and you again see these red and black runes begin to appear in the air over the steering wheel as he begins to manipulate it. And the ship starts to move forward again.
All the sailors dead?
Yes, all the sailors are now dead.
As Axios is kind of reflecting on the battle, can he make an Arcana check and or history check to see what he might know about the creatures that we fought?
Sure. You could make both, I guess. I mean, you would have heard, so just from the general sort of shape of them and the fact that it had these three eyes, you would guess it might be somewhat related to like deep sea beholders. eyes of the sea. They're sometimes called sea tyrants. But the descriptions you've heard of sea tyrants was somewhat different than this. First of all, this was bigger than you might have imagined, and you always thought they had more eyes than just the 3. You never heard anything about glowing eyes either, but the overall form, including the tentacles, is very similar.
Okay.
And actually, let me send a message to Zarius, because Zarius would notice something.
While Kurt's sending that, Axius would say, so, like, what do we do now? I mean, that thing had a partner. It's when I was in its mind, it seemed like they were both doing the ritual. If it can't do the ritual alone, it's definitely gonna look for us and try to get revenge.
As Zarius sort of like walks away from you, he'll just say, "Good." As he starts walking, I guess, towards fucking Daggerface here.
Good isn't a plan, man. We need to be prepared.
Daggerface,
Yes.
you should not be leaving.
Someone has to go see what's going on at the statue.
I am not opposed to going back, but we must rest.
You're saying we would go back tomorrow.
Perhaps, or perhaps after we have acquired more sailors to man this ship.
It seems like the sailors are pretty fragile. I don't know whether or not. First of all, where are we going to find sailors out here? I think we complete the ritual if we wait too long.
Or perhaps we have disrupted it by killing one of them.
Possibly. But don't we need intel anyway? I could just row back. I mean, I don't know how far back it was, but I could row back, gather information. You can drop anchor here, and then I'll come back.
This is not a good place. We should move forward.
Yes. I think we should get out of this fog as much as possible, rest, and then we can decide to go back into it.
How long is that going to take?
I mean, you were in the fog for like a day, so it's probably going to take another day to get out of it.
I do not think that the fog matters.
Well, Axius was aware that the fog was somehow magical, so
Yeah.
it's certainly related.
I mean, where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? Like, you say we'll come back, we'll have more sailors. Where are we gonna find them? And on top of it, how are we going to take out another one of those things? Let alone if Bob's right and they'll come back.
Well, thankfully none of us died. Well,
None of us died.
so-
Say that to Antonius. Tell that to Stormborn.
Man, none of
No
us
one
died
important
except
You know, I read all the stories about you guys. I thought you like cared about people, and you don't even care that these people here died. You didn't even take one look at them.
I mean, people die every day.
That's cold.
That is Osiris's will.
Oh, really? Really? It was Osiris's will for some giant squid thing to shoot an eye ray right through Hardhouse and literally explode his head with psychic energy? That was Osiris's will? Because if that's true, fuck Osiris. I thought you were supposed to be some great healer, Zarius. But you're not even trying to help anybody but yourselves.
I do not have to explain myself. They died fast.
Oh,
That is the greatest of gifts they could be given.
you don't know that they died fast. You were too busy dealing with the squid thing to even notice. You don't know how they might have suffered in their last moments. I knew the stories were exaggerated, man, but I didn't think they were exaggerated like that. Lucia Rossi was probably a bitch.
And Daggerface would say, Lucirosi was no bitch. But I do agree. Zarius, what happened to you, man? You used to be cool.
You are still alive. As I said, I am not opposed to going back. These people, they should be given a proper rest.
Okay, you like raise them from the dead.
I don't remember how many diamonds I have,
Yeah,
so I'll probably have to
Daggerface-
roll a deception for this.
I know you have some diamonds. So yes, you would have to roll deception.
But as I say, I do not have enough components to raise them.
I'll give you advantage on this because, well, that's not that good. Daggerface might beat that, maybe, but
Well,
it's a
sense
13.
motive.
It's a 13 because Daggerface wants to believe you. I understand. I can't ask you to do the impossible, but
Kurt, message.
Yep. let's see something. So I won't bother. Well, yeah, I guess I will. Let me just first. I have to respond to Mike.
Okay.
Then I have to send something else to someone else. The Daggerface goes over and kneels next to the body of Stormborn and begins to weep. and recite prayers as he rocks back and forth next to her body.
Axios is gonna walk over to Daggerface. Daggerface, how long you traveled with these guys?
I didn't know the new ones very well, but Stormborn and I,
No, the Deadpools.
we traveled together for many months, at least 3 before we finally parted ways. I knew this is going to sound odd given all of this, but they showed me what it was to be a hero. I guess without Lucia Rossi, things are getting harder.
Well, you'd think that by a bit more respect for you, Zarius is lying to your face.
No, Tharius wouldn't. About what?
He can raise him. He just doesn't want to. Zarius, I don't know what part of it, but you're lying. Either you got the components or you can do it. You just don't wanna. I guess it's Osiris's will that these people stay dead.
So make me a persuasion check.
All right.
Roll shit. Roll shit. Roll shit.
I actually did.
Come on, Daggerface. God
I'm
damn it,
pretty-
Daggerface.
Well, but so
He doesn't
Dagger-
believe him? I don't know what that means. Yeah.
I would say Daggerface does not believe him because he wants to believe in Zarius. So basically, you tried to persuade him, but he's too stupid to realize that you're the one telling the truth.
I'll just.
That's fine. I was mostly talking to
Yeah.
Zarius.
Does Daggerface respond before I do anything?
Well, Daggerface will at least stand up to say, Zarius, are you lying? Could you actually bring Stormborn back and the others?
Even if I did have this capability, I have to make difficult decisions. It would be a very limited resource.
So you're saying you could, but you don't want to spend the resources on it.
I said, if I could.
I guess you know best, Darius.
Yeah, I guess he knows best for Stormborn's family. I guess he knows best for all of us. Maybe if we die, Daggerface, they won't use those resources on us either.
I don't believe I can be raised from the dead. And you see his eyes narrow as he stares at T-Hole.
T-hole doesn't say anything.
Oblivious.
Kind of
He's not even
looks
looking.
away.
He's not even
Yeah.
looking. I'm sure of it.
He's still shaking off the effects of the glass press.
Wait.
He's getting aftershocks.
Or T-Hole sees the glare and is like,
Hey.
Now, so Zarius will take a beat and turn back to Daggerface. How fucking tall is Daggerface? I feel like
Daggerface-
in order to look at him face to face, I have to kneel way the fuck down.
you would. He's about 4'6".
Okay. I'm probably still a bit over him even after even if I'm like down on one knee. But I'll do it. make that pilgrimage for him. And as I get down there, I will pull out the lock of hair that I took from Lucia Rossi. And I'll just hold it up and say, I think that you could still be raised. And this is a lock of hair of Lucia Rossi. As I put it back into a little pouch.
It's pretty obvious it's Lucia Rossi's too, because it's iridescent. So
Maybe, yeah.
he had a very distinctive hair color.
Visions.
I'd just
and
assume my soul
communes.
will be claimed by the librarian when I'm dead.
It might, but I will wrench it from him.
And he like reaches up to put a hand on your shoulder and says, I appreciate that. Doesn't make the loss of my friend easier to bear, but I
Never
understand.
will. Loss must be felt at some point.
Easy to say when you're the one who controls who loses.
Visions and communes have led me to be wary of who I bring back. Be selective.
It's convenient. Visions and things that nobody experiences but you in your own head. I'm just going to smoke some of my glass grass and I'll see my own visions in my own head. We'll see whose is better.
You will
The captain,
see
meanwhile, who's not really been paying attention to this drama, he has more or less just been sort of silently staring ahead, weighing events on his own. He walks down and then enters his cabin, and then eventually comes back out with a chart and lays it out on the deck and says, we need to figure out where we're going. The nearest land, the nearest settlement where we might be able to pick up sailors is on an island about 100 miles to the west, or to the east rather, of Pax Cloranthus itself. I do think we could probably sail with you guys taking my directions, although we are going to have to drop anchor at night because you guys will not be able to sail through the night if I'm not here to guide you, and I can't stay awake 24 hours a day to do that. Or we could make our way towards the mouth of the river and try to make it back to Lucianum, but then you guys are going to be the sailors until we eventually hit a town along the river.
How much longer do we have to Lucianum?
Probably about 3 weeks. But that would be about 3 weeks if I had competent sailors. It remains to be seen how effective you guys will be.
Oh, we're terrible.
How far do you know roughly how far before we entered the fog we were to the mouth of the river?
That'll be a couple days. It actually, that will depend. Yeah, that will depend on whether or not we have to evade Imperial ships, which we probably will at some point. I mean, in that respect, the wrong people died, because if they board the ship, they'll be looking for you, and you guys are my sailors.
Daggerface, if that happens, I can take care of that. That's not a problem. And then suddenly he makes a few motions, like with the smoke that he's blowing, and it moves out and it takes the shape of Xarius. And Xarius is standing there saying, I'm a cold-hearted butthead. I don't care who lives or dies, as long as I get mine. Osiris. Yeah.
Zarius looks to whoever's closest to him and says, "Who's this supposed to be?"
Kurt, I fully expected you to say when you're talking about the captain that he goes below deck and then comes back up with something real heavy and jumps off. That's what I was
Right,
expecting.
or-
Thank
It
you.
actually, it did occur to me. The captain goes below deck. You hear a gunshot.
Mhm.
um,
That at least looks convincing.
And then he starts, Axios starts making him like tap dance. Kind of like the shit in Spaceballs when the alien, the chest burster, starts like dancing. Kind of like that.
yeah, please.
Mechanically, if you raise somebody from the dead, don't they come back with like 1 hit point and their exhaustion or something? They go wait like 1 week, or is it?
There's the quick one. Well, so there's two different things. So like there is all of the people I plan on doing the gentle repose on.
Okay.
So that like technically, at least within the next 10 days, anybody could be revived. Yeah, with like a proper raised dead. Revivify is unfortunately, I think we're past the time for that. So that's like anything within the last minute I could revive with
Right.
like fucking 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds. I only have so many. I don't remember how many I have like left, or if I even used any.
I know I have the stuff for reincarnation. What do you think,
Right.
Daggerface?
You use some to raise Lucirosi from the dead.
Right. Oh, right.
So that was one revivify. I don't
One
think you
use
used
of it.
any others.
I don't
Dude,
remember how
I-
many uses I had.
But Daggerface is like, can you resurrect people, Aurelia?
I mean, it hasn't been tested. It's all in theory.
Well, but it's got to be better than dead.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I
Next thing you know,
guarantee
you'll be making figures out of smoke and having them dance. I mean, anything. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Zarius is breakdancing across the deck. Goes spinning between you and Daggerface.
Aurelia just walks below deck looking for something heavy.
But Aurelia, I'm sure that if Stormborn were here, she would want to be alive again.
You, Daggerface, how do you know where she could be the perfect place that she wants to be, and then now we're going to rip her from that and bring her back to this shithole?
Does the spirit get a choice?
I hope so, because I don't want to come back here. This place sucks.
I mean, if you can bring her back, though, shouldn't you? It's the moral thing to do, to give her that choice. Stormborn has family. She has friends. She has a life. We,
Mhm.
honestly,
Yeah, I did too.
we-
Yeah, they're all gone. They're all dead. Yeah, next. Move on. Next. Welcome to
but
the club.
if someone could have brought you back into that, to give you back your family, to let you experience those friends again, wouldn't you have wanted that?
I didn't get that chance.
But you can give it to Stormborn. You can give her what you never got.
What? She come back right on the ocean. She'd come back to the ship, and then next thing you know, one of these other things comes up and kills her again.
If you can't raise her a second time, I understand there are limits to what you could do, but you could at least try.
Look, Daggerface, her ticket got punched. You should be thankful for that.
Why would anyone be thankful for that? She
Have
didn't.
you?
We thought this would be a kind of a more lighthearted, fun adventure, like the good times we had in Mordenkainen's Manor.
There weren't any good times. I don't know. There were no good times. There have been 0 good times.
Sure, there were. Remember, we fought that
No, I don't. That was pretty terrible.
those spider demons.
Yeah, that sucked.
We defeated a future potential demon lord in Eregia. We were great heroes. Whatever evil she would have done, we thwarted her. Whatever people she would have killed, we saved them from whatever fate she had planned for
Right,
them.
right. So another evil, horrible thing will raise up in its place and eventually beat us, because that's what happened. We've seen the future. It's pretty bad. Yeah, like the whole planet gets wiped out. Like there's this whole. It's pretty horrible. I suggested we go to a different world. That sounded a whole lot better. But no, Lucia Rossi wanted to come back here and save everything, which doesn't look like it's going to happen because he left. So I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to go below deck, and then you all figure it out. Good luck.
I don't know what made you so bitter, but I want the old Aurelia
Life,
back.
try it
And he
sometime.
turns and walks away.
You mean the good old times on Mordenkainen? You mean the time that you sold your fucking soul?
I remember it like it was yesterday. Aurelia's had a lot of changes happen to her. Of anyone, she has had the most.
T-hole, the scariest thing is, without Lucia Rossi here, you're probably the leader of this group. He shakes his head.
You know, I was emperor. I have experience.
As you say that, Axius blows a little bit more smoke, and it splits off from Xarius, and it forms T-hole. And Xarius turns to everybody and says, Osiris approves. And T-hole goes under, like throws a robe over him and Xarius, and you just see it moving around and weird sounds. And then some of T-hole's astral hands come in and out.
Does he always do this?
This is kind of a first. I think you broke him, T-hole.
Oh. I remember my first time being broken. Actually, I don't. But I'm sure it happened multiple times. You'll get over it.
Captain Familio starts thumping on the deck with a finger, poking at the chart he's brought out. We still need to decide where we're going to go. Are we headed to the nearest settlement? Are we headed to the settlements along the river on the way back to Lucianum? Sitting here is not doing us any good. If anything, maybe this other thing comes and gets us. But if we're going to come back, first of all, I don't know on whose ship, but if you're going to come back, you probably want to head for the nearest settlement. If we're going to Lucianum, fair enough. But we should set sail immediately.
Think it might be better to go to the nearest settlement. We can perhaps hire another crew. Xarius. Maybe there's more supplies or components or whatever you need that'd be available.
I doubt it. Diamonds are hard to come by.
The Empire, they're impossible to come by. You'd have to find a black market source. And the place I'm thinking of, Fayfair, is not the kind of place where you're going to find black market diamonds. Pax Gloranthus might have black market diamonds, but I guarantee you the Imperial Army and Navy is there. They're always there.
I definitely don't want to go anywhere to explore at this. As far away from it as possible. But we do need a crew at least.
In the morning, I could attempt to far see this city below the water.
Why? What good would that do?
Information. Give us a better idea.
So you'll get information to the city beneath the waves where we aren't going. But
I did not say we would not go back. In fact, I said that I was not opposed to going back. We are just not ready now.
no, we're not. We'll get smoked. But if we just come back with more sailors, that's not going to help our situation either. That's just going to delay it. And we don't know, next time we might fight too, because Bob might be right. The other one might just be pissed now.
I do not care where we go. Tomorrow I will look.
That sounds good. More information never hurts.
Have any of you seen those flying heads before?
No. Where did they go off to an orgy? They were talking about some sort of orgy and they're heading away to the north.
Yeah, I made them think that they were missing out on some fun times somewhere else so that, we won't have to deal with them.
Man, they'll be disappointed.
Yeah, and that particular spell is going to last almost a fortnight.
And the captain says, so you sent a bunch of undead heads to rape people in Cartha? I mean, if they went north, that's probably where they're headed.
I mean, I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I just knew I didn't want them here.
Could you break the spell
also,
before they get there?
Out it'll last a fortnight.
No.
A day, perhaps.
No. That spell was pretty powerful. It's loaded. Yeah. That's not wearing off anytime soon. I can't really break it or change it. Not without seeing them.
Well,
He comes down from the helm and walks up to Zarius and takes Zarius by the hand, and then reaches over, takes Axius's hand and puts them together and says, "You two are meant for each other." And then he goes back up to the helm.
Well, with any luck, the Imperial blockade will hold, or at least stop the deadheads. So, I don't think we will be in a good shape to sail for 3 weeks, just us. So let's head to the nearest settlement to get a crew, and we can decide whether we're going to head to Lucianum or come back here once we have one.
And even as you say that, you see he is again manipulating these runes that are floating around the wheel. And the ship begins to pull forward again. You can feel the ship is turning slightly.
Is it still being affected by the pull of the statue?
No, you haven't noticed that once he wasn't at the helm anymore, it basically stopped moving. But it wasn't floating back towards the statue anymore. There's still the body slowing it down, but after a few more hours, the bodies begin to peter out and you don't see them anymore. And then that night, still in the fog, he is just starting to get exhausted. So he instructs Daggerface to drop the anchor. We're going to have to rest. I'm going to have to rest. I'll be up
Set
again in...
watches.
That's a good idea. I'll be up again in 6 hours and we can start moving then. And he goes into his cabin. So this would have been probably like most of the day. So if anybody wanted to get anything done.
Short rest.
You
Yeah.
definitely could have gotten a short rest in.
So that would help me because I'd get some spell slots back.
Just in case.
So I'd be able to get. Comes back.
Right.
Figures.
So I would just say there's nothing that's going to come up overnight anyway. You could probably actually get a long rest in.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
You say probably.
I mean, I would say probably because I don't know that somebody won't pull a Lucia Rossi and say like, I'll stay up all night keeping watch.
Everybody in my party knows already that you don't make me stay up late. So I go to sleep right away. I'll be up way before everybody else.
Do I need to do my song of rest?
I doubt it.
I mean, for a short rest, that would have been useful.
But it's going to be a long rest.
Yeah, if they get a long rest, and it won't need it.
Okay.
I do like that old man Zarius is going to always go to bed early and get up super early. Head to Country Kitchen Buffet.
I guess Tiho would be spending his time at the top of the mast as much as he can. Just kind of looking out when he's not needed for sailing.
So after another couple hours of sailing, the fog begins to break up. The weather's actually not great. It's still pretty overcast, but you get the sense that this is just sort of natural storm clouds passing overhead. Looking back, you can see the fog sits like a mountain rising out of the water. It seems to be fairly tightly defined. It's a vast area that it covers. But like the bodies, it seems to sort of hold a certain shape to itself. And after another 3 more days of sailing, during which time everyone, including Zarius, everyone at least except Cato, who's just in no shape to do this sort of labor, does have to put in a fair amount of work. The trickiest part of which is when the wind picks up again, working the sails. Turns out that it is easy to get little injuries here and there. Requires a lot of climbing, so probably Zarius isn't doing as much of that. And there's always the possibility of getting knocked around when the spar comes swinging in to change the direction of the sails. But eventually you do make it to the southern coast of the Athmere. And you see there is a town, not especially big. It probably has maybe 1,000 residents at most, maybe less than that. But you do see they have a small port and set of docks. You also realize looking at the ship has at this point been like wrecked. It was super fancy and expensive before acid was sprayed all over the deck. Now, a little bit less so. But you pull up into the town, and the captain ties the ship off, brings it in.
I would have taken that first day, like that after a rest, to see if I could scry down under the water. Like I have a general idea as to where it's at.
Mhm.
So
Right, you certainly can try.
yeah.
Lately forgot we had
Where-
Cato. Now that I realize we should have just let that thing grab Cato and haul him off, and then we would have got Lucerosi back.
Yeah, send him a message. Thing took Kato. Gotta go get him.
Oh.
We're in the middle of the lake.
I'm rereading this crying spell. It's been a while.
I guess maybe it wouldn't really work out because it's just
No, well, it's a location you have seen before.
Uh-huh.
So what location are you trying to get to? Like, what are you trying to see?
Yeah, so like I've not seen the city itself, so I can't really scry on that.
I mean, the city of Harnma was pretty large. You know, if depending on how much of an area got attacked by the whatever carried it off here, it could take up a large portion of what's under the fog. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. If it, you know, if all the outlying like little settlements outside it also got picked up at least. If it's the greater Harnma area that got picked up and not just the city itself. But you know, certainly you've seen the statue.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually been to Harnma myself, right?
No, you probably wouldn't have been.
So I'd have to, I guess, at least go to the statue part of it, what we've seen, just to, you know, see if anything is there, you know, now that we're not.
Uh, So you see now that you're there is this undulating blob of water that is glowing with an intense light, almost like fire. And the light from this undulating ball of water flickers very much like it was firelight. But you also see there is just a tendril of black energy that is coming off of it, that is being absorbed into a creature that's very much like the one you fought.
Okay.
It is a slightly larger version of the creature you fought, but it is similar.
Okay.
Its tentacles are splayed out. They twitch slightly from time to time, but they're otherwise fairly straight. It almost looks as if it is paralyzed. But otherwise it is hovering in place, just absorbing this energy. You also see there are occasional bodies that are floating in the water around parts of the statue. And you would probably figure out from your insight check that those bodies don't look like they floated there in every case. It looks as if maybe they were positioned there, possibly to turn them into these little floating head things.
Okay. I mean, anybody who's watching me scry would see this. So
Wait, so that's happening now?
yeah, that was the very next day.
No, I mean, that's what Axios is asking
yeah.
about the image.
Yes, this is now.
Well, it's doing the ritual. That's what I saw in my head. It was absorbing the energy from the Melora statue. Once it's done, that black sphere is going to come.
A black sphere is why that city is there in the first place.
I don't know what it's doing with it or what's going to happen. I just know what I saw in that other one's mind. I mean, I'm probably guessing it's not too great, like, you know, because there's a city underwater that wasn't there before, and now this is happening, and all those people in that city are dead because they drowned.
What if these Salgan gods somehow intended this Harnma to be put in the middle of their domain so they can harness it?
Then they are not gods, but instead the creatures from the void. The place we
Wait,
were just
you're
in.
saying, are you saying that things that could move a whole city to the bottom of a lake are not gods? Because that sounds pretty godlike to me.
They just utilized a different power.
A godly power, maybe? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone that could just casually be like, oh, Pax Gloranthus, you're over here now.
I feel like that would be a weak display for a god.
What have you seen?
You do not want to know.
Whatever, man. If you think it's a weak display or not, it's doing what it needs to do. Whatever it's intending, you know, it's happening. It's probably not good.
The other sphere, or the other what did we call it?
The sphere of annihilation?
Yeah, the other sphere of annihilation we ran into was also above water.
Wait, so you guys have seen these things before? These black balls?
We traveled through one even.
Okay.
Yes, they are weapons, but they are also portals into the void. So,
Okay.
long story.
And none of that is like triggering your guys' sense that this could be like not good, like emergency crisis. Grab your taints and kiss the sky. 'Cause I'm feeling a bit puckered right now.
You hear a bang as the captain lowers the gangplank to the dock below.
That was fast.
Oh wait, I thought Zarius said that he was
Oh,
doing
that's
the
true.
scrying
You're right.
the next
You're
day.
right. He was doing it. He was doing it before you got to
The next
That's
day.
what
yeah.
Aurelia thinks in her mind. Like, oh damn, let me get off this ship.
It is certainly not pleasant.
Oh, it's only gonna get worse. Don't worry, Axios.
Right. That's real comforting.
Always here to help.
I I guess I'm worried. I'm wondering what role, or if any role, that these creatures are playing in the usage of these spheres, the spheres of annihilation.
They
is
seem
troubling.
like creatures from the void.
I thought they were demons, Daggerface says. Are there demons in the void?
Many of them appear to work together.
Wait, Zarius, this scrying thing, it gives me an idea. Maybe I have a plan that could give us a bit of an edge. But I mean, if we're planning to go and deal with it, if we're not, it's not going to help. But I might be able to like temporarily trap it so it can't move, but also in a way that we could just blast it from safety.
I'm listening.
It's experimental. I haven't used it, but I might have a spell just for the occasion.
It's got even more drywall on it.
So
Daggerface says, "You're not going to convince it it's missing an origin somewhere, are you?"
no, I don't think that would work with this thing anyway. The other one was pretty smart. No, this would be like, so you guys like saw how I could like make smoke look like things. You remember that?
Nope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. You know, I don't understand if you don't. My memory's a little hazy sometimes. But anyway, sometimes with the right combination of herbs and spices, the smoke things can be a lot bigger and like actually touch. Like you could touch it and you wouldn't know it's not real.
Teal is like really tempted to just like get a hit of whatever he's smoking right now.
And then like Aurelia, I saw you blasting. Zarius, I know you can blast. T-Hole, I don't know. You can throw things hard maybe. But just kind of keep
on keeping on.
You know, blast it till it dies.
Okay, good talk. Good discussion.
I have a limited range.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I haven't actually tried this before, but the equations work out. I'm wondering what people think when Axius says the equations.
By equations, I mean drugs.
T-Hole is fairly convinced that Axius has never seen an equation in his life. Or maybe if he has, but he's never solved one.
I mean, you know, at least it gives us a shot. We have some preparation. We can set the field to our advantage. And also we'd be prepared. Like that other thing, it showed up, we had no idea. Like it was all spooky and shit in that fog. But like when that thing popped up, I was like, oh. And then when the heads came, I was like, oh.
I mean, there's not much I can do to help from a distance, but if it comes in close, I can help. I think it's at least a reasonable tactic.
Well,
Should we go back in? But I'm convinced we have to stop it now. I'm wondering if these two creatures are behind this, behind bringing these things into this world, or at least using them in a weaponized manner.
so, Daggerface, do we have any like bows or crossbows or anything like that?
Yes, well, we have crossbows
Cool.
and bolts.
So T-hole, maybe you can use one of them. Are you a good shot?
Probably. As he's got like his Yoon stone is kind of like revolving around his head.
Right. So I set the battlefield, make the parameters favorable. Then we go in. We know where we're heading, and then we blast, and maybe take out 2 gods. I mean, shit, if we already got one that's mad at us and might come back, what's another one, right?
Bob chimes in to say, but I'm telling you, you can't kill them. They're gods.
Okay, well, I mean, the other one kind of, I don't even know what it did, but it's not here now. So
The stories say that even those who try to kill them, even those who best them, only turn them into a vapor, and then they come back.
okay, that sounds kind of similar to what maybe happened. But, you know, at least we buy ourselves some time. I mean, we don't know what this black ball is going to do once they bring it.
Do the stories say how long they take to come back?
I was under the impression that it happens very quickly within a matter of hours. But I don't know.
Zarius, that spell that you're using to like look at this monster, can you try to find the other one, see what it's doing?
I would just say Zarius and T-Hole, when you hear that, it would probably occur to you, although I know it's been about 1.5 years now, that when you killed Carahul the Mind Flay, he turned into a black vapor and floated away.
Oh,
I was gonna say something, but I'm like, Axios wasn't there.
Right.
I as a player remembered that. I don't know how much T-Hole would remember that, since that was the previous incarnation.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my assumption has always been that your character has a continuous memory with the last character. That you might not remember all of your prior lives, but you remember the last one pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you would also know that, I mean, it's pretty obvious that whatever that reaction was where it imploded on itself and vanished, It happened the instant you poked it with the rot dagger. And the rot dagger is one of the few things that could kill you permanently.
Also, as a player, let's not forget when we killed Graza, she was tied to the Tor stone or whatever it's called, and she was going to turn into a black mist, but got sucked into the Tor.
And if we recall, like the Tor, they were that was like they were elves and they were in the Melora, right? Like the Tor
That's
was
true, but they were, so the Tor was Itaran, so it was way more ancient than that village. They just built their village next to the Tor.
Gotcha.
But the
Yeah, that's right.
Itarans were kind of like a high magic group.
Do we know of anything that's like similar to that, like a similar monument, so to speak?
Oh, you were aware, I mean, you would be aware of it. Very fewer of that size. That one was like 50 feet tall. But the Itarans scattered these things all over the continent. So you definitely would have run into them. Most of them are like no more than, some of them are as small as like 6 feet tall. Some of them are like 15, 20 feet tall. Sometimes they'll build like little stone circles out of them. Usually it's just one. It is, I mean, people speculate they probably have some greater meaning, why they were placed and where they were and what the sizes are and why sometimes they build, more than one. But nobody really understands what the Atarans were doing with them. I mean, Axius, you can make me an Arcana check.
Okay.
Yeah, you would still be aware of them, but you would also not really know why they were placed the way they were.
All right, so we got kind of a plan. What happens if plan A don't work? Well, first, I think we should know if the other one is around. Zarius, can you use your spell to look at the mirror, make the mirror see the other one?
He'll just nod and begin to cast. You'll have seen him do that the first time, so. It takes like 10 minutes.
So what are you scrying on?
I
One we
guess to
killed, right?
see if the one that we killed has returned, or otherwise it's, I guess, it's just his body. All right, I guess he doesn't have a body.
Its body completely disappeared after it imploded. Like, it was a little irregular. It imploded in sections at first, but eventually it just disappeared. It just got smaller and smaller until it was completely gone. So you don't see anything. That could mean it's dead. And there's no body to scry on, and that's why it's failing. It could mean it's on a different plane of existence because scrying is limited that way.
Right.
How do we know these are void creatures?
We don't know for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
I
really
don't
know
think
that.
we do.
Okay.
I mean, they may have some association with the void because they're trying to summon one of those black spheres.
They're grotesque, like many of the creatures from the void. But many demons are also grotesque and also just as chaotic.
Not all grotesque from the void.
So Kurt, I'm gonna send you the idea I have for the spell, but if it happens, I want to kind of keep it a surprise until it happens, because I think the reveal is half the fun.
So basically, Axios was like, "Hey guys, I have a plan," and then you all huddled up, and nobody in the audience got to hear the plan.
Yeah.
So after 2 days after that, you do make your way to Fayfair. And Aurelia, as you try to disembark, the captain who's ahead of you says, "Where are you going? You're wanted? This is the Empire. You could be recognized. We could have any number of people swarm us. You guys need to stay on the ship. I'll tell you when to get off. I'll look to see if I can find you some other transport for your little suicide mission."
Wait. Don't worry, Captain. I got it. And then Axios proceeds to cast Seeming.
Aren't they looking for? I think are they? No, they're looking for me as a girl, not as a cat person, right?
Actually, they were looking for you as a cat person.
Um,
The captain
So-
doesn't really. The captain is not making those distinctions. But yeah, technically, the description that the search parties had was of you as a cat person.
Okay, so yeah, just step aside, and I will. I'm going to get on land.
You're gonna get us caught.
No, I won't.
well, Axios casts Seeming, so now everybody looks very different.
I suppose that's fine.
Does it change the look of my
And-
staff?
Yes.
Well, yeah, they're just looking for like a snake staff, not this exciting lightning snake staff.
Um, Kurt, was the squid in the water when it was sucking out the energy?
No, actually, it was hovering above the water.
Oh. Well, we can still try it.
So the captain goes walking off. Does anyone other than Aurelia need something in this town? Well, actually, you can think about it. This is a fair place to end, as he goes off to find sailors and another boat, so that he doesn't have to die with the rest of you.
That's fair.
Make sure that boat is okay with carrying a body.
I'm sure they'll have to carry many bodies before you guys are done.
Potentially. Your crew will not begin to decay for another 10 or however 10 minus however many days it was.
3.
And Daggerface says to Nala and Axios, "I think we may have to hire the ship we use ourselves, so guess we're gonna have to bring those chests with us. We may need the money."
All right. All right, now let's go haul up some treasure.
Yeah, and Daggerface goes with you. So he picks up 2 of these little chests, gives 2 to Nala. I mean, they're pretty heavy, so probably you would take 1, but he and Nala both have powerful build.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah,
So-
Axios has an 8 strength.
Zarius might be a tad bit annoyed that Luciros isn't here to just offer up his own money.
Yeah, that was something we could always rely on.
Actually, if Lucirosi were here, come on, he would have been like, "We're turning this ship around right now, going back to the statue."
Fair.
Um, Yeah,
He would have figured out some way to pick up like 3 levels of exhaustion and then turned around to go fight the second one.
Have no spell slots left.
Right. Because, right, he would have smited the hell out of those Sahuagin.
And at least 1 or 2 Varguils.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that squid thing nearly wiped us single-handedly. Imagine if we had to deal with those Varguils too. Thank God they're
Yeah.
in an orgy. They're in an orgy somewhere.
This time is going to be different
So-
because I'll have more of my battle spells prepared.
Right now, somewhere in Cartha, somebody is seeing like little dots on the horizon and not realizing what's coming.
What is
That
that?
fucking-
It's just a wisp. It's just a wisp of clouds. Those are no clouds.
It's that fucking. It's that scene from Apocalypse Now. The helicopters coming up.
Bum-ba-da-da, bum-ba-da-da-da.
Yep.
And then they hear in the distance, I'll swallow your soul and your cum.
Hashtag Pornhub. Yeah.
It's not a proper recording until we get on Pornhub.
Yes. I was surprised. Like I literally used nearly every single spell slot I had, and I have quite a few. Like I was
Right.
bottom of the barrel. Had that phantasmal killer spell ended, I would have been down to Shadowblade, and nobody wants that.
What's wrong with Shadowblade?
Oh, nothing if you're a frontline character with more than 10 hit points.
I would say I
Tacitus
was
had heavy armor, so
right. I was concerned as I was sort of thinking about this monster that obviously it was at some point going to grab someone, grapple them, and drag them into the water. And I was concerned that it would get so deep that it's like, well, Teal's gone.
T-Hole the Rogue comes back.
Right. Because if it had gotten like more than 60 feet down, I probably would have said, like, yeah, you really can't see it anymore. That is in part why I was like, I need something with glowing eyes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm glad I had Dimension Door prepared.
I'm gonna have more of my battle-y spells ready.
And I also did sort of think, like, first I'll have the Sahuagin here, and then they'll probably run into 1 or 2 of these things. so they may make the mistake of assuming I'm not pulling a mic, and the Sahuagin are going to be the one battle for the day, and there's not something worse waiting for them. So I actually thought you were going to meet the bigger one first, because I wasn't planning on control water turning the ship away.
Yeah, that was a baller move on Zarius' part. And I kind of saw it, Kurt. I saw your face and I was like, oh, the gears are turning. we subverted an entire arc.
Actually, I mean, I don't know that I would never say like, well, you have to go back. But I was thinking in that moment, like, oh, I got that cool statue of the underwater map. I'm not going to get to use it. But if you go back, I guess I do.
We can't do an underwater arc. We don't have that fucking kind of magic. We'll drown down there.
Right. But the statue is partially above water, and the creature was above water. But yeah, it's possible somebody could drown. It might still try that tactic of grapple and drag and drop the guy in heavy armor under the water. I mean, because of what I was, if it had its druthers, if it really could have pulled it off, the great thing would be to be close to you all, stun you with its 60-foot radius effect, and then drop people into the water all in one turn. Because then you'll be stunned for a round. You may not be able to take a breath in before you go. But it didn't get to do that because actually, it was constantly getting beat up and it couldn't line up all of those things in one turn. But with its legendary actions, it could have stunned you and then tentacled as a legendary action and then moved as a legendary action to get back into the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'd also say I did sort of make a tactical mistake on its part. This is where I realized as soon as I said it that it's actually smarter than it used up one of its legendary actions to avoid Axios's cantrip.
I was surprised at that. I was like, oh,
Yeah, and I was
okay.
like, that was a mistake, but I guess I already said it out loud. It should have really just suffered the 1d4. I don't know what spell you would have used next, which might have been really bad, but it was a one round effect.
It was probably going to be Phantasmal Killer, I think, was what I was going to use.
My Toll of the Dead was hitting pretty hard too. So one of them was like 30 something damage. So
right. I mean, that one was a little bit. I considered it on that one because of the amount of damage, but
well,
it does have a lot of hit points. It took a while to whittle it down to 0.
that being said, I think that one Toll of the Dead may have been more potent than the fucking what's the fucking thing I did?
The blight.
Yeah, the blight.
I think they were about the same. Your blight was like 32, and I think
Yeah.
the Toll of the Dead was 31, maybe 33, somewhere in that range.
Oh, when cantrips outpace spells.
Scroll down there. Trying to see here. There's a 24.